do we have to do a section where you like walk into my room with the pile of books?
Well, no, because the whole idea was that I have it sitting on my desk, and all of the not the actual book spines would have been turned towards you, so you could have just stared at them in dread. He's like, which one of these fuckers is he gonna make me read?
Should I walk over there real quick and look at them?
No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll do it again later. We'll forget about the gag in a few months, I'm sure. And then I would pull the actual book out of my drawer.
Oh.
Stashed and ready.
Well, hey, the recordings start.
It started?
Yes. I've been recording, but...
Oh, wow. Well, welcome back, everybody, to In Another World with my book club.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Mostly my fault.
Also a decent bit my fault, but...
No, it's all my fault. Yes, no. It's that beauty of working in insurance towards the end of the year. But, if you work in insurance, you definitely have a reason to trying to be reading, escapism fantasy novels. So I was denying myself my own pleasure.
So for this episode, what did we read?
We read Katanagatari, Sword Tale by
Nisioisn.
Nisioisn.
Very famously wrote the Bakemonogatari series.
I'm just now noticing that his name reads backwards the same way.
Wow, yeah,
Forwards.
it's like that's his thing. Yeah,
it's palindrome.
He loves Nisioisn is like loves palindromes, puns, all that kind of crap.
Does it work Japanese as well?
I don't know if it's how it's
the
written.
Same character. Hang on.
All right, we're live on set.
Nisio, this is gonna be great. Nisio. Oh, it's two characters.
Is it the same character?
But his logo is using
English. Yeah, I knew that.
No, I guess it works out. It's four characters. Wow.
Yes, but Katanagatari, despite being a gatari, is not part of the Monogatari series. It makes perfect sense. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
I mean, it's like how J.K. Rowling just titles all of her books with the word wizard in them now.
Is that true?
Yeah, no, it's all in that. Harry Potter, that's got the word wizard in it. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, that also has a wizard in it. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It's important to just have brands, and hers is all based around the word wizard.
I mean, has she written anything else that people care about?
There was that one book that she tried to write under another name.
I remember about that.
It was terrible. And it sold terribly, so then the publishers just low-key announced that, hey, J.K. Rowling wrote this, and then it just hit the New York Times #1 bestseller, and it was a terrible book. It's a terrible book.
But it didn't matter.
Do you want to know how terrible it was, Patty? Back when I worked at Cracker Barrel, we had 5 copies of it on audiobook, and nobody ever checked them out.
Well, that was our little, that was our review for this episode, so thank you guys for watching. No.
Yeah, no. Katanagatari, written by J.K. Rowling. No.
Okay.
So let's actually get into it. Patty, why don't you summarize the book for us?
Okay, well, Katanagatari is the story. It is, as you said, the English title is Sword Tale. It is a tale about swords. The main character is Shichika Yasuri, who is a swordless swordsman. His body is his sword.
I feel a bit cheated because the story is called Sword Tale, and just already straight out of the gate, I am already minus 50% of the swords I was expecting in this story.
Yep, you got to get all the other swords from the other guys. Well, anyway, Shichika basically lives on this deserted island with just him and his sister. And one day he's just putzing around, and this woman shows up named Togame. And she's like, hey, she has a sword, and she's like, hey, you're gonna help me find these 12 possessed blades, right? And he's like, I don't know. Sure? That's basically...
Well, he doesn't say sure. I think this is actually the first part of the story was my favorite part of the story. In fact, it was the only part of the story I liked. Was a haphazard island. That was the only arc I enjoyed. She just goes balls to the wall and she explains, all right, I need a swordsman to track down these swords in order to get in good with the shogunate. So I tried just hiring a bunch of ninjas. They bailed on me because they realized the swords were worth more than I was paying them after getting the first one. So then I tried, just a big swordsman, but he immediately fell to the temptation of the really cool sword and therefore wouldn't give it to me. Therefore, that leaves me with you, someone who has no possessions and doesn't use swords, but is very good at fighting swordsmen. I have to get you to come with me. He's like, so what? Why would I? And she goes, well, you see, I have had a galaxy brain idea. You are going to love me. And then a ninja, out of nowhere, destroys the building by vomiting 18 bajillion shurikens all at the same time.
One of the Maniwa, or the Maniwani, as they are.
Maniwax.
That, I think that's the English translate. I admit, I've watched this entire anime. This is Katanagatari is in my top 5 anime of all time.
I somehow had a feeling that there was an anime somewhere in all of this.
Yes, anime, very good. But I believe in that translation they call them the Maniwani. I'm sure that's some adorable pun in Japanese that I don't understand. Yeah, so they get attacked by a ninja. It's revealed that he is carrying what's the sword? Zeto the Lever, which is a sword that will never break, is basically the shtick.
Sword that never breaks.
So there are 12 different swords that all have really weird and odd properties, and they just, from knowing what's coming up, they just keep getting fucking weirder.
I was gonna say, a sword that doesn't ever break, that seems, that's a low bar.
No. Yeah, they start you off easy.
I get why it's, impressive. See, it's a fantasy novel, but, they really don't, apart from the Maniwax, who are just, completely out of left field, both of the clown level reality bending powers, everything else is pretty, normal.
Well, I mean, like the Maniwak in Volume 2, what is his power? He talks backwards real good.
I immediately figured out that was his shtick, and I just skipped the entire paragraphs every time he spoke.
I actually did read what he said, and it is a challenge to try to read that.
I gave him like 2 or 3 sentences, and I was like, okay, let me think here. Is this character going to be important to the overall story?
And then he fucking dies like 2 paragraphs later.
So I don't need to read any of this. I think it was a good decision. I think that was one of the best decisions I made with this book, was skipping that guy's entire dialogue.
So, yeah, obviously I am not going to give an unbiased opinion of this book, because I'm just going to sit here and tell you how much I love it.
I know you love it, and it makes me really sad to say it, Patty.
But no, tell me what you... I'm curious now, what did you not like about it?
So, it's just... What's the word? It's too... not grounded in reality to be good historical fiction, but it's not interesting enough to be fantasy in my mind. Bridging this gap between 2 genres, which I'm always fond of, let's go and do new things with our stories, but, basing most of this so heavily in history and, this historical setting they're trying to go for, but not using any of the actual cool things that happened in Edo period Japan. It sort of results in, we're not really getting anything exciting from the history. And then because we're just, apart from the Maniwax, who are just Saturday morning cartoon villains, we're not doing anything that interesting with fantasy. So we're sort of getting the lessers of both worlds.
See, I feel like that kind of misses the point of the fact that this is not supposed to be historical at all. It is supposed to be a satire of historical novels and like historical tellings of things that happen, because Togame constantly uses the word cheerio,
yes,
which does not exist in Japanese and would not, I think they said, would not be invented for a few hundred more years as a saying even in English.
Yeah, no, I think that was part of it as well. I know this author really likes his puns and his wordplay, but most of the time when he's just going on his rants, I'm just thinking, let's get on with it.
And I am the exact opposite. I'm like, no, keep talking. I am interested in the dumb bullshit you want to say. Because I think there was one specific point, I think I realized this. It was when they were fighting the guy in the second novel. What was his name?
Sand dude.
Ginkaku Uren
Mhm.
the Unere. He's the guy who has Zanto the Razor, which
The
is the
reason why it
sharpest
sounds like
sword
we're
ever.
reading the names so horrifically, by the way, is because we are.
We are literally reading them because
There's so much Japanese, and it is so foreign that we've actually
I made a
Patty
cheat
actually
sheet.
just made a list of names.
I have all the
Uh,
characters, all the places they go, all the techniques, and all the
yeah.
swords that are in the first 3 volumes. But
Mhm.
anyway, they're fighting. They're fighting Zanto the Razor, and at one
Right, and
point,
Zonto the Raver's stick is that at
it is the sharpest blade ever. Which I do agree. The first two are like, okay, these swords are kind of, whatever.
yeah,
But
what are the two cool things about swords? They're big tools and they're sharp. Okay, we're gonna make it the most tool and the most sharp.
well, they get the boring stuff out of the way. Anyway, they're fighting him, and he uses it's like his ultimate technique. And translated, it would be the absolute territory. Now, I don't know how much you know about super weeaboo terminology, but the absolute territory is not only the weird force field used in Evangelion, it is also slang for the gap between a girl's thigh high stocks and her skirt. And that is
Ah,
literally
yes.
what he is saying. Is
I'm not
that,
familiar with the Evangelions. I'm very familiar with the exact same joke being made in Overlord, though.
well, see, that's the thing, is that here's this guy saying something that doesn't make any sense in historical context. But because Nisioisn just loves putting in stupid weebery into his books, he has what would normally be a very serious character say something that is actually quite silly.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest. This book really sort of read a lot like here are the scripts for the first 3 episodes of the anime we are definitely making. Which light novels absolutely translate them into anime, but when you go, I'll go with another book that I have read quite a lot. I've read through it twice, and also has an anime which was quite successful. I'll go Overlord. There's a lot in there that a doesn't make it into the show, and there's a lot in there that can sort of stand on its own. It's its own plot. It's contained, and then it can be broken up and turned into a show. This is just a show written out. I mean, it's literally broken up into episodes.
Oh yeah, the episodes of the anime were an hour long, and each were a book, and each of the books are very short, honestly, overall. Also because Nisio Isin is known for cranking out about a book a month. So yeah,
Gotcha.
he
So
probably
no,
did
he's,
write.
he's just going through it.
Yeah, he
I,
he just likes to write, I guess.
I also have a bit of a bone to pick with you. This is the light novel book club. I accuse you
Oh,
of giving me an actual novel, not a light novel.
okay. Well, to be fair, yes. The English publication by Vertical, I believe, has the first 3 light novels as the first volume.
Aha! Now we get to the heart of the matter. See, guys, this is why it took us so long. I had to read 3 light novels for
Yes, it
today's
was 3 novels.
show.
It's just like this is like a triple episode. That's
It's
how
it
it
is
works.
it is actually
Uh,
3 pages, isn't it?
uh, Now, actually, speaking of the English publication of Katanagatari, did you read the translator's notes at all? I'm just
Yes,
curious.
I
Okay,
read all of them.
I also read all
I
of them.
I know that you said I didn't have to.
No, you do not.
I just wanted to understand what was going on. I know his big deal is puns, so I was like, all right, I'm going to try to get the appeal of this author. I am willing to meet him on his terms. Let's try to learn what he's saying. Now, I did have a thought, so I want to talk about the characters of this story for a little bit.
All right, hit me with it.
All right, now I want to talk specifically about our protagonist.
Okay, talking about
Uh, uh-huh,
Chichika.
that's right. So here's my big revelation. This character, he's sort of been reminding me of people throughout the whole thing, and I'm like, man, this guy, it's like sitting on the tip of my tongue. Who is this? And then I suddenly realized it. I think that this author has done something actually very interesting. I don't know if this was intentional, and I don't say this as a joke or as an insult or derogatory in any way. I think he has written an excellent autistic fighter.
You know what?
I
I could 100% see where you're getting that. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I was thinking to myself the whole time, man, this guy is not getting it. He can't recognize people. He has no social norms. I am a sword. That's right, Shikiki. You are a sword. And I just sort of it's dawned on me towards the end of the third novel. when he just straight up murders a girl, and then he looks up at his master, the schemer, who has decided that he is in love with at this point, and he just goes, "I did good, right?" And if he was a dog, he'd be wagging his tail. And I was like, this guy just has autism.
Yeah,
That's what
and
we're
then
doing
and
here.
then the schemer Togame was basically like very haphazardly like, yeah, you did good.
You did it, man.
But no,
It's like
I that is an interesting thought. I never really
the end of
thought
the
of it
third
that way.
novel. It's just like the grapes of the wrath. He has just squeezed that puppy to death, and he just doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't get the implications. He's just he's just doing it. He's doing his best, and you know what? All the power to him. Just goes to show how Tagame is just an absolute villain, and
Oh, absolutely.
she
She
is the
is.
actual antagonist of this story.
I mean, she calls herself the schemer and literally just shows up and tells him, "Hey, you love me now, so you're gonna help me with my dumb errands to impress
That's
the
right. No,
shogunate."
I'm just you know what? There's not. I don't feel like inherently, someone who's a liar, a manipulator, is necessarily an evil person. Tagame's whole shtick, however, is that I need to get the swords, and I am going to contrive situations in which we get to kill the owners of the current swords.
Well, no. She wants to do diplomacy with Meisai, the owner of Sento the Legion.
No, she does it with all three of them, and all three of them it just immediately fails. And I feel like she wants it to fail because she's going on towards the beginning of the third book about what a bother it would be if the girl who currently owns the Legion, Miss I, says yes. Yes, you can have my swords, all 1,000 of my one sword, 1,001 katanas. No, and she's just going on about how while they're climbing the stairs that if she agrees, I have to somehow get 1,000 replacement swords. I have to find a way to mollify her, make sure she doesn't chase after us. Man, it would be convenient if we just killed her. And then they go and have their diplomacy. It fails, as it inevitably will, and there we are. We gotta have our cool sword fight now.
Which Togame never actually gets to see any of the cool sword fights, at
No,
least in
that's
these
true.
3 books. She wants to send a cool report back to her superiors to tell her how great she's doing on getting these swords, and then she just misses all of them.
Yeah, so it's it's I didn't enjoy this book too much, Patty. I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
No, that's why it took me so long. I just was not having a good time.
I had a feeling. I thought for a little bit. I'm like, oh, it is technically 3 books. Maybe it's just taking a while. But then I thought, man, he was really taking a while. He must not have liked this. And I will be honest, it's not that surprising to me that you didn't like it. I threw it out there as just, this is one of my favorite authors, but I don't think it's something Brandon would like.
It's really focused on the wordplay, which I'm sure if I was a native Japanese speaker reading in Japanese and I really, really liked puns, this would be great.
I think it's more focused on the characters, honestly. There is a lot of just them talking to each other. There's not a lot of plot.
That's true,
going
and
on.
I really like some good character developments, but I always feel like you should really show who your character is, not tell us who your character is. And we spend most of our time just reading through monologues where people are explaining who we are, what's our background, what do we do, what am I known for.
See, I disagree with that in this case, at least. I think that all the conversations they have, they're not just telling you who these characters are. You have to piece together it through their conversations and how they talk to other people. Like how you pointed out that Shichichika might be autistic or have something wrong with him. Like, that's not something they explicitly come out and say.
But that is noticed by me through his actions. At the end of the third duel, he straight up killed that girl, and he turns and says, "I did good." It doesn't even say "I did good." He just looks proud, and he looks at the schemer. That's great characterization. It gives me some really good depth. Him going on about how cool the Koyotoryu is, his swordless swordsmanship, how he spent all these years mastering it. Oh, it looks so cool. 7th form's great. I know how to run sideways using Form 7. That's not giving me anything, man. The best part of Arc 2 is right at the end of Arc 2, when he puts the schemer behind himself and
He
he
kicks off
of
her
her
face. Yep.
That's great. Give me more of that, where we are walking through the desert and she is explaining her relationship with the shogunate. That's not doing it for me, man. Why don't we have her meet an official from the shogunate and have a really, tense interpersonal conversation
Maybe that happens
where
later.
I'm looking forward to it because it would be something happening as opposed to just another monologue, which most of this book is just monologues.
And like I said earlier on, I'm obviously going to be very biased towards this book because I love Bakemonogatari as well, and I love Nisioisn spending 3 pages talking about Hanekawa's panties. Yes, deep characterization. Thank you very much, Nisioisn. I don't know. Just for me, it is something about Nisioisn, how he writes his character dialogue. I could read books upon books when I have of just him having his characters talk to each other.
Man, I got this great show for you. You're gonna love it. There's so many. There's over 30 seasons of it, Patty. It's very popular. It's called Power Rangers. That's what we're doing. We're doing historical fantasy Power Rangers. Hey, let's go and fight the villain of the week. That's what we got going on.
Well,
here.
to be fair, this isn't, go on forever. This Katanagatari is only 12 volumes, 12 swords. That's it. He's done.
No, what about our tease at the end of book 1 that there is secretly a 13th sword? Or do we wrap that up in 12 as well?
No, there's 12 books.
Or is it that when it comes all around, the swordless swordsmanship technique is actually the 13th sword?
No, that's fucking stupid.
Huh? I think that could
the 12th sword would no, I'm not gonna put spoilers in this video, so
no spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers past the book we're talking about. We're assuming you read the book we're talking about.
Here it is, Kyoto the Diamond. That's not just actually not having a sword.
No. So yeah,
Katanagatari. It's a lot of talking.
It is a lot of talking, like us.
It's a lot of monologues. If we are Katanagatari, we are just
the Katanagatari was the friends we made along the way.
We are the Nisioisn. So
would you say you're not up for reading another book by Nisioisn?
This is a book club. I am on board for whatever we want to read because we take turns. I cannot guarantee it will not take me just as long to read another one of these because I eventually just sat down 2 weekends ago and I just powered through it, and it was a bad way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
Now,
before going back to work.
Now, obviously, I have to go back onto your some of your tried and true questions you usually ask on this show.
Yes, ask away.
Where do you think this story is going after this?
We're gonna go and get some more swords for sure. I think secretly, the Shogun is going to have Kyoto the Diamond because the overall finale is definitely to be Togame facing off against her father's killer. Because at its heart, this is a revenge story.
No. Her father's killer was Shichika's dad.
Right.
Who is dead.
But he also had sword autism, so it's the guy who was controlling him, which was the Shogun.
I guess you could say that, yeah. Sword autism.
In any way, shape, or form, saying that Shikikaka and or his father had any sort of personal responsibility or the ability to be responsible for themselves is laughable. They both think of themselves as tools and like to be used as tools. Just the only thing they get to do is decide who their wielder is. So this is definitely Togame versus the world. And Shikikika is just sort of along for the ride. So she's going to go after the people who killed her dad, who technically is Shikikaka's father, but,
it's really the Shogun.
It's the Shogun. Al Capone technically did not kill anybody during the Valentine's Day massacre. It was Al Capone who did it, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the exact same sort of situation.
I'm happy to report somewhat that Shichikaka does have a little more agency in his own destiny further through.
I'm sure at some point he's gonna have a moment of realization, and I have a feeling he's probably gonna go even harder into Camp Togane if possible.
Something like that.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, do I have any other questions? Probably not really.
Because we know that it doesn't go infinite. The art's very pretty.
Yes, of course, the art. How did you feel about the art?
Oh, it's great. I wanted more of it.
I'm the only thing is I'm disappointed not all of it is in color.
Yeah,
because I feel
true.
like all of it like is
they're just,
meant to be in color.
they're just beautiful pieces.
Hey, fun fact. I almost forgot about this. So one of the reasons this wasn't out early enough was because we were both playing Pokemon Sword and Shield, right?
That's true. We did do quite a lot of that.
So I was watching the credits for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and guess who was one of the Pokemon designers in that game?
Was it this artist?
Yes, it was Take, one of the artists for this book.
Okay.
So we were doing.
Let's find out, what Pokemon did Take make.
I don't know if we can find that out.
Okay, typing in the word Take into Google, they think that's just the word take.
Yeah, exactly. So good luck finding that.
I guess we'll never know. I hope it's Wooloo, but I don't think it was. All right. Yeah. So that was Katanagatari. I'm gonna give this one a hard pass, but
so you're gonna give it a not recommend.
Not recommend.
Not recommend from Brandon. For me, on the other hand, absolutely highly recommend. Honestly, if you love Nisioisn's other stuff, you'll like this one. If you're more into stuff like probably what Brandon likes, like I would say plot driven.
Let's have stuff go on, man.
If you're a loser like me who just likes people talking all the time, you'll like this one.
And if you're a loser like me who thinks that Surf Ninjas is a great film and Michael Bay is better than people think he is, but not as good as he thinks he is, don't read Swordtail.
Read Swordtail. Right. Absolutely read it.
All right.
So, anyway,
Patty, it's my turn now.
Yes, it is your turn.
I need a palate cleanser after that, so I'm picking a book that I know I'm going to like because I read it.
Okay.
It's a good book. I enjoyed it immensely. We're going to read Spice and Wolf Volume 1.
Oh, come on.
Hasekura.
Really? You're going to make me read my favorite book series of all time. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, we're going to read Spice and Wolf Volume 1.
Darn.
I picked this one because I feel bad because I made that take so long. And I know you're going to read this in 2 days.
Yeah, I would love to reread it for like a fourth time.
And I've now read it, so I'm ready to roll. It's Patty at this point. Guys, if this takes 2 months...
It's my fault this time. I mean, we could do it right now. I'm sure. I have not read that book since high school. I probably barely remember.
I can tell by the edges of the cover that this book spent some time in some backpacks.
Oh, it was in a couple of backpacks. I read that in math class.
Volume 2 is looking a bit, in particular, a bit beat up. All right, so that's my pick. Spice and Wolf Volume 1.
Fuck yeah, I love Spice and Wolf. This is going to be great.
All right, you got to pay it back, though. You got to give me something good next.
All right. Well, I'll figure something else for next time. I'll think about it. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you at the next book club.